Where is Balake at?
My name's Blake.
Do you want to go to war, Balake? I'm for real. Ron.
Ron is right here, everyone. Welcome back for more SPTV Late Night Edition, where every day's a great day not to be in a cult. Holy cow, you guys. I love it when things come full circle. Almost 9 months ago, I did a video on my channel called Grant Cardone's 10X Health Scam is about to implode. And in that video, what I detailed was information that had been shared with me by an insider that the star that was carrying the success of 10X Health, a man named Gary Brecka, that Gary Brecka and Grant Cardone were having a little bit of a falling out. That Grant Cardone could not stand the fact that Gary Brecka was outshining him as a star, really. And that it was Gary Brecka and his relationships in the industry and in the fitness world, the supplement world, and with celebrities that got all of the attention. And I did a video about this. And I talked in the video, I mentioned some of the business relationships, Dana White, the UFC, Joe Rogan. And before we get into the meat and potatoes on this, well, I guess I won't even bury the lead. Guys, the prediction has come true. Gary Brecka is no longer with 10X Health Systems. I didn't even know this. It happened last month. And not only that, Gary Brecka has now filed a $100 million defamation lawsuit against Elena Cardone, in addition to a separate lawsuit against 10X Ventures. And okay, I got some screen shares to go through with you here. Let me do it this way. So at this point in the video, to set it up, I'm talking about an 8.5-minute video that Dana White did with Gary Brecka on the UFC's own YouTube channel with like 11 plus million subscribers, promoting the nutrition and fitness and biohacking regimen that had allowed Dana White to shed a ton of weight and get into some of the best shape of his life. It was an 8.5-minute video on the UFC channel with Gary Brecka, and I comment about it this way. Even though this video shows a machine that says 10X Health Systems, the word 10X Health Systems does not appear anywhere in this 8.5-minute promo video that Dana White published. Okay, the next thing I'm going to share with you here. This is an episode of Joe Rogan. This was November 9th, so December, January, February, March, almost 5 months ago. This is a video with Gary Brecka of 10X Health Systems. Guys, in this entire interview, the word 10X Health Systems does not get mentioned once. And the word Grant Cardone does not get mentioned once. That's going to become relevant here in a moment. Okay, just a simple observation, right? Just a simple observation. By the way, a little clip of the video that I haven't yet shared is a part of the video where I share some of the additional information that was shared with me by the insider about why Dana White, an unbelievably wealthy individual worth hundreds of millions of dollars, goes on podcasts and promotes 10X Health Systems. Now, he didn't promote 10X Health Systems in the 8.5-minute video that I was just talking about, but in other times and other places, he has. And I shared the information that was shared with me, which is that Dana White gets paid to do that through affiliate sales and other means. That happened to get me a letter from Dana White's attorney, which is not the point of this video, but since we're having fun, late night SPTV edition here, I figured I would just share it with you real quick. Okay. It says, dear Mr. Levin, got my name wrong. Please be advised that this firm serves as litigation counsel for Dana White. In that regard, I'm writing to you in connection with the video you posted to your official YouTube channel on April 3rd, blah, 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 blah. In the video, which has been viewed more than 28,000 times as of today's date. Joke's on you, sucker. It's got like 57,000 views. Okay. You make a series of representations to the effect that Grant Cardone and or 10X Health Systems has provided Mr. White with financial compensation in exchange for Mr. White providing positive opinions concerning Mr. Cardone and 10X. In other words, you have represented that Mr. White is being paid to endorse and or promote what you have labeled as a health scam. Anyway, they make all sorts of threats. They give me a deadline to publish like an apology and a correction and a retraction. I basically told them to suck my fucking nuts, and then I never heard from them again. So, by the way, do I know what the actual business relationship is between 10X and Dana White? No, I just know what was shared with me by an insider who, by the way, now clearly was right about everything else. So if you want to depose me, I'll be happy to do that. But otherwise, take a hike. Okay, the next part of the video that I want to share with you starts at 8 minutes and goes for less than 2 minutes. So let's cue this up. Let's look at it this way. And here we go. My source says, but the biggest story about 10X Health right now is the rift and the split that is occurring between Grant Cardone and 10X Health and the guy who is running 10X Health and is one of the owners of 10X Health, Gary Brecka. Gary Brecka has been trying to separate from Grant Cardone and 10X Health for the past year. You might have noticed that all the big high-profile podcasts and interviews that Gary Brecka does, he never mentions Grant Cardone, and he never even mentions 10X Health. I couldn't believe that on the biggest podcast in the world, Gary Brecka never said the words 10X Health. That must have absolutely infuriated Grant Cardone. And anyone who's paying attention, that should have been a huge sign that something is seriously amiss over there at 10X Health. And I'll tell you, if Gary Brecka takes a hike over at 10X Health, the entire thing collapses. Because the 40% of the revenue of the entire program is based on the affiliate sales of the VIPs and the celebrities who are all with Gary, not with Grant. Okay. My source goes on. Grant has been trying really hard to get rid of Gary as well. The problem is that Gary is the one that has all the connections with the celebrities, and the celebrities just love Gary. Dana White, Joe Rogan, the Kardashians, Channing Tatum, Leonardo DiCaprio, etc. So once again, the short answer is that anyone who is out there promoting 10X Health is not promoting it because of the success of the program that they're doing. They're really promoting it because they're making good money using their platforms to sell 10X Health products and getting a fat commission out of it. All righty. Now, that being said, I'm sure celebrities are very happy with the results that they're getting, but celebrities aren't in the habit of going around and endorsing and promoting things just because they like them. They usually do it for money, not exactly a hot, controversial take. All right. So that leads us, so that was the part of the video where I very specifically said, if Gary Brecka is out of there, show over for 10X Health Systems and Grant Cardone. Okay, so let's look at the press release that came out today. We'll look at it this way. Renowned human biologist and longevity expert Gary Brecka files $100 million defamation claim against Elena Cardone, that's Grant Cardone's wife, and lawsuit against Cardone Ventures in response to questionable business practices. Okay. I have the actual lawsuits here, by the way. And not only are we going to read some sections of them, but then we're going to read some of the takeaways and the summaries from Grok AI. Okay. It says Gary Brecka and his wife, Sage Workinger, and respective entities today filed significant lawsuits related to their partnership with Cardone Ventures, LLC. The first complaint is a $100 million defamation lawsuit filed by Gary Brecka and his wife. I want to make sure I remember her first name because Sage Workinger. Okay. I'm not going to remember that. Against Elena Cardone, wife of Grant Cardone, who co-founded 10X Health with Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger. It details the process by which Mrs. Cardone launched an allegedly intentional smear campaign designed to damage Gary Brecka's reputation, including making false, incendiary social media posts and nefarious public statements. I won't bury this lead. Elena Cardone sought to retaliate against Gary Brecka and his wife by trying to publicly associate Gary Brecka with Diddy. Because Diddy was one of the many, many celebrities who was a client of 10X Health Systems or a client of Gary Brecka's. I don't know really where you're going to, how you're going to differentiate between celebrities who are clients of Gary, either as an individual or under his other company, or celebrities who are a client of Gary through 10X Health Systems. I don't know how to differentiate. I don't know how they differentiate. But she posted a video of Gary Brecka doing like some sort of breathing work with Diddy. Anyway, you'll see. They actually get into it. Okay, let's go down. Those are the lawsuits. Anybody can download a copy of these lawsuits by just, I will include a link to this. Actually, let me do it right now. I'm going to include a link to this press release in the live chat. And then afterwards, I'll post it in the comments section. It's a big fat link. So there you go. Okay. In the second complaint names Cardone Ventures LLC, a consulting firm claiming to help founders scale their businesses, and its CEO, Brandon Dawson, as defendants. The complaint details predatory efforts by Dawson and Cardone Ventures to take over 10X Health and edge out Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger through nefarious means and breaches of contractual agreements. Individuals who have worked with Cardone Ventures or Brandon Dawson and may have information or similar complaints may call 305-603-0805 and leave confidential information for legal team review. That's very, very interesting. And that's one of the reasons I wanted to do this video, was just to help to get this word out. Now, let's take a look. Now, remember, we're talking about two different lawsuits. The first one is a $100 million defamation lawsuit against Elena Cardone. Now, that's the only lawsuit that actually cites a monetary value. The second lawsuit against Cardone Ventures and Brandon Dawson doesn't actually cite a monetary value, and we'll talk about that a little more in a moment. But because the defamation lawsuit against Elena actually has a lot to do with what happened at 10X Health, we're going to look at that. It's also much more interesting. Okay, plaintiffs Gary Brecka and Cicely Sage Workinger. Okay, sue Elena Cardone and allege as follows. Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger co-founded and for a time enjoyed a fruitful relationship with 10X Health Ventures LLC, known as 10X Health. As Gary Brecka's star rose, 10X Health sought to collar the driving force of its brand, and the relationship soured, culminating in 10X Health's terminations of both Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger. In the wake of his termination, Gary Brecka publicly framed the separation as an amicable parting of ways to assuage 10X Health's clients and patients, and to preserve what little goodwill remained between him and the company. He and his wife, between him and the company he and his wife co-founded. This evidently struck a nerve with Elena Cardone, the wife of 10X Health co-founder and majority shareholder Grant Cardone. Mrs. Cardone decided to stoke the flames. She took to social media to besmirch Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger. First, she posted an old video of Gary Brecka coaching Sean Combs through breathwork, trying to impugn Brecka as a result of Combs recently being shoved into the national spotlight following an incendiary indictment for an alleged criminal conspiracy involving, among a myriad of other nefarious things, sex trafficking, with the express purpose of communicating the false message that Brecka is toxic and, worse, a deviant criminal. She then privately threatened Sage. Guys, we're going to see the screenshots of the text messages here in a second. She then privately threatened Sage and, without provocation, left a vicious comment on Gary Brecka's Instagram account, replete with material and disparaging falsehoods. Now, Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger sue Mrs. Cardone for defamation. Okay, scrolling down. I don't really want to read all these. We'll start here. In September of 2021, 10X Health Ventures was formed and acquired Streamline, and Brecka and Workinger became co-founders of the company 10X Health and were engaged through separate consulting agreements to help build 10X Health. In October of 2023, okay, so let me get my dates right here. Okay, so that is a year and a couple months ago. In October of 2023, Brecka launched the Ultimate Human podcast with Gary Brecka. Okay. All right. Yeah, I think that's the t-shirt he was wearing when he went on Rogan. The podcast, carved out from his services contract with 10X Health, provided Brecka with an additional platform to address health and wellness topics he was passionate about, including but not limited to services offered in partnership with 10X Health. Thanks to the immediate success of the podcast and Brecka's other public appearances, 10X Health exploded in popularity and profits. Okay. Gary Brecka became the leading referral source for 10x Health, and his leads comprised the majority of profits for 10x Health. As 10x Health grew off the back of Gary Brecka's successes, the majority owner, Cardone Ventures, shifted the focus of 10x Health from its patients and clients to solely profits. Not only did Gary Brecka fundamentally disagree with 10x Health's philosophical shift, 10x Health's philosophical shift, he was also a victim of it, as 10x Health time and again bristled at paying him his fair share of the company's record revenues. Okay, good. We are going to fast forward here. It's so good, though. I don't want to skip too much. All right, let's keep going. First, Cardone Ventures clandestinely acquired an interest in Revive Global Limited, an international IV drip therapy and genetic testing company, and tried to force Brecka and Workinger to promote Revive products through 10x Health. The new Revive-based products proved expensive and unworkable and resulted in dramatic and unnecessary costs to 10x Health's clients and patients, frustrating Brecka, Workinger, and 10x Health's clients and patients. In April of 2024, okay, so that's much closer. So that's when I did my video, actually. In April of 2024, 10x Health ambushed Brecka and Workinger with an attempted corporate restructuring, pressuring them to sign unfavorable conversion documents on an unreasonably tight time frame. Brecka and Workinger refused. Subsequent negotiations to resolve the parties' disputes proved fruitless. Grant Cardone propositioned Brecka to make an offer to buy out Cardone Ventures' interest in 10x Health, but after spending months formulating a term sheet to acquire Cardone Ventures' interest for cash, Cardone Ventures summarily rejected the offer. Ooh. Okay, Brecka decided to resign on the morning of November 2024. Wait a second. Resign? All right, let's see what it says. Brecka decided to resign on the morning of November 5th, 2024, notified the president of 10x Health, but 10x Health caught wind of Brecka's plan and raced to terminate him and Workinger first in order to control the narrative and tarnish their reputations. Slimy. Later that day, on November 5th, 2024, 10x Health sent Brecka and Workinger termination notices, terminating Workinger and purporting to terminate Brecka for cause. Wow. Okay, here we get to Elena Cardone's dirty dealing. On November 25th, Brecka made a joint post with Workinger on his Instagram account, reflecting on his and Workinger's journey from starting Streamline to the present, informing the public of his departure from 10x Health and expressing his thanks and gratitude to 10x Health and his fans. Brecka also took the opportunity to highlight his support for the employees and caregivers of 10x Health. Finally, he emphasized that the patients and clients of 10x Health remain in excellent hands, referring to the team at 10x Health as the most compassionate caregivers in the space. Wow. Okay. In response to the heartfelt Brecka post, Elena Cardone posted to her over 688,000 Instagram followers an old video clip of Brecka and Sean Combs, a prior 10x Health client, with the caption, "Oh boy, bye." Oh, damn. Spicy. So mean girl. Okay. We all know about the Diddy stuff. We can skip that. Mrs. Cardone published the Instagram post to create the false impression that, among other things, Gary Brecka and Mr. Combs had more than a professional relationship, and that Brecka was in some way involved with or participated in the conduct underlying Mr. Combs' recent criminal racketeering charges. Brecka's relationship with Mr. Combs was limited to interactions with Mr. Combs as a client of 10x Health. Mrs. Cardone knew that her intended meaning for the Instagram post was false and or in reckless disregard of the truth. Okay. Yes. Okay. We'll fast forward here. Wow. Okay. So just some evidence that viewers of the post, viewers of Elena's post and comment clearly took it the way Elena intended them to take it. Later that day, Workinger privately reached out to Elena Cardone regarding the Instagram post and was met with open hostility, further cementing its malicious purpose. Okay. So Sage said, "Why would you post that, Elena? That was not kind and really disrespectful." Oh my God, wait. So Elena texted first. "Just for you." Maybe Gary can make nice comments as well. "Happy Thanksgiving." Holy shit, that is so nasty. So she does this on Thanksgiving and then texts her saying, "Happy Thanksgiving." Okay, Sage says, "Why would you post that, Elena? That was not kind and really disrespectful. I see you took it down because people didn't agree with you posting it. It was trashy." Elena says, "I'll put it back if you want." Oh my God, what a bitch. Sorry, I just had to say that. Okay, Sage says, go for it. Let's see what other people think of your petty post. Wow. Brecka and Workinger believed that the Instagram post was the end of the matter, but Elena Cardone had other ideas to take the fight to Brecka. Brecka's Instagram account has over 2.2 million followers. Social media is the lifeblood of Brecka's business. Elena Cardone took it upon herself to reply to the Brecka post and to Brecka and Workinger's millions of cumulative followers. Wow. Okay. And this is all going down on Thanksgiving. Grant believed in you, put you on a growth conference stage in 2019 in front of 34,000 people. You promised him you could deliver on your supplements. You could not deliver. We had to cancel everyone's order. Grant took that hit, not you. But did Grant quit on you? I'll never quit you, Gary. You didn't have the business savvy or means to scale. Cardone Ventures and 10X Health came in and bought your failing strip mall business and offered you ownership in the company. Grant Cardone founded Superhuman Protocol. It was not in your near bankrupt strip mall vitamin supplement business. Oh, shit. This is nasty. You latched on and made millions. You were the only one paid from the business. No other partner has taken a paycheck but you and Sage. All the other partners reinvested to build the company. I personally introduced you to Lauren Ridgier. I don't know who that is. Carrie Kasem and Dana White. By the way, Carrie Kasem, also another Scientologist, just like Grant and Elena. We built a real company with real infrastructure, and we are going global. I've watched you pitch other products that are not 10X Health so that you can make your profit, even though you have ownership in 10X Health. Every partnership that 10X Health was in talks with, ironically, became friendly with you and no longer has interest in partnering with 10X Health. Maybe that's because you guys don't have any credibility. And in this space, Gary Brecka does. And we have watched you steal clients and badmouth leadership all over town. You say disagreements with leadership. You are right. Blah, 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 blah. The fact that most people that know you have no idea that you have partnership with my husband, Grant Cardone, is shocking to me, Gary. I always treated you with respect, never spoke ill will of you, introduced you to your first stages, to the biggest names in the world, but I cannot tolerate the level of disappointment and betrayal I feel for you as a partner. She's literally putting all of this in a comment on a post that Gary Brecka put up being complimentary of 10X Health Systems. It's unbelievable. She goes, I've been silent and gracious. Guys, silent and gracious are two words that have never been associated with Elena Cardone in the history of the Galactic Confederacy. I've been silent and gracious, but while we are all being transparent, so all of those who would follow you anywhere, eventually truth and transparency reveals itself onwards and upwards. All right. Okay. The lawsuit goes on. Mrs. Cardone's Instagram comment was replete with blatant falsities about Brecka and Workinger, including concerning their tenures at 10X Health, that she either knew were false when made and or were made with reckless disregard of the truth. And it gives some examples, which is fine. That's fine. We're going to go on. Yep. Elena Cardone published the Instagram comment with the express purpose of injuring Brecka and Workinger's post 10X Health careers and or to subject them to hatred, distrust, ridicule, contempt, or disgrace. I don't think there can be any doubt about that whatsoever. As a result of the Instagram comment and Instagram post, Brecka and Workinger suffered actual harm, including reputational harm, humiliation, mental anguish, and suffering. Okay, good. The counts is defamation per se and defamation. I will not pretend to know the difference. I'll talk to my lawyer friend, Zach, about that. And it says here, where's the $100 million ask? Let's see, scrolling down here. Here we go. Brecka, Workinger will seek leave of court for entitlement to punitive damages. Wherefore, Gary Brecka and Sage Workinger demand judgment for damages in excess of this court's jurisdiction against defendant Elena Cardone for damages of $100 million or in an amount that will be established at trial, pre and post judgment interest as may be available. Okay. That's pretty wild. I bet Grant wishes Elena would have just kept her mouth shut there. Let's look really quick at the second lawsuit. We're only going to look at the very beginning And then I'm just going to show you the summary because I fed the whole thing into Grok AI and I just said, summarize this for me. So real quick, let's take a look at this, guys. This is the lawsuit filed by Gary Brecka, Sage Workinger, and others against Brandon Dawson. I'm going to zoom in a little bit. Brandon Dawson, an individual, 10X Health Ventures LLC, and Cardone Ventures LLC. Okay. It says Gary Brecka has become a figurehead of the health and wellness space based on his client-focused approach, putting the health outcomes of clients first. As Brecka rose to prominence in the industry, he catapulted the business of 10X Health that he and his wife and business partner Workinger co-founded. Cardone Ventures and Dawson came along for the ride, but Cardone Ventures and Dawson were not satisfied with the financial windfall they were receiving. Greed took hold of them, causing them to focus solely on the bottom line at the expense of 10X Health's clients and patients. While 10X Health raked in unprecedented profits due to the efforts of Brecka and Workinger, Cardone Ventures and Dawson engaged in blatant self-dealing, acting as if Brecka and Workinger were disposable assets over which Cardone Ventures and Dawson had unfettered control. Accordingly, when 10X Health received expansion and growth opportunities, Brecka and Workinger were kept in the dark, or worse, their interests were intentionally undermined. Ultimately, one of the proverbial final straws occurred when Brecka and Workinger refused to compromise their principles and ethics to promote new genetic testing and supplement products that were destroying 10X Health's business and causing mass confusion in the market. Yet another self-dealing ploy by Cardone Ventures and Dawson to siphon money for themselves. Intent on controlling the narrative and tarnishing Brecka and Workinger's good names, Cardone Ventures and Dawson, acting through their positions of power at 10X Health, terminated Brecka and Workinger's employment from 10X Health, but lied to employees, officers, and shareholders about this termination to paint the narrative that this was due to Brecka being too busy for the business, a patent lie. Now, Brecka, Workinger, and their respective entities bring suit for claims arising from various agreements and the duties and obligations that arrive therefrom. That's a pretty succinct description of the lawsuit. I guess I will just read the summary real quick here. Actually, the summary is really pretty much what we just said. Compensation and termination issues. Brecka faced withheld compensation, forced changes in commission rates, and was terminated under questionable for-cause conditions without proper notice or opportunity to cure, which plaintiffs argue was retaliatory, and in breach of contract. Allegations of multiple breaches, including not adhering to contract terms regarding duties, compensation, management decisions, blah, blah, blah. Conclusion, the plaintiffs are seeking damages, declaratory judgments, and other equitable relief due to the alleged breaches, mismanagement, and unethical practices by the defendants. The case reflects a significant fallout between the founders and the management team, highlighting issues of control, profit motives, and ethical business conduct in a rapidly growing health and wellness company. That's pretty much it. The lawsuit against Elena Cardone is much more interesting than the lawsuit against Brandon Dawson and Cardone Ventures and 10X Health Ventures, at least, from a reality show perspective. I'm not sure which one of these lawsuits is more threatening to Grant Cardone and his interests, but it is a little bit amazing to see something come full circle from information I received almost 9 months ago, and speculating that Gary Brecka's departure from 10X Health would be the end of 10X Health. The next thing that I'm going to be interested to see is what happens with the public relationships that to many appear to be between 10X Health and people like the UFC and Dana White. And for example, 10X Health is one of the sponsors of Dana White's slap fighting league. Does Dana White continue to go with 10X and Grant Cardone? Or does Dana White torpedo the 10X Grant Cardone connection in favor of supporting his good friend, Gary Brecka? Stay tuned, guys. We will see. Okay, let's look at some starred comments here, and we'll wrap up this late night edition of SPTV. Just a Northern Girl says, is Grant Cardone really the last image I want to see tonight before bed? Oh, by the way, guys, you can't talk about Grant Cardone without 10X in your, you got to 10X it. You got to get your money right. You got to 10X your game, and you got to 10X your fraud. Because remember, guys, Grant Cardone is not just a fraudster and a con man and a con artist. He's also part of another fraud called Scientology. Okay. So you get in bed with Cardone, you got to get ready to 10X everything, especially your fraud. Grant Cardone is the internet's most notorious, famous fake billionaire. Okay. So it's just fraud. It just emanates from Grant Cardone's pores. Okay. So you got to 10X it. You got to get your money right. You know, I can't talk about Grant Cardone without throwing on the 10X hat. Okay. So she does say, I'll have to watch a disinfectant stream later. Sorry, just a Northern girl. I hate to do it to you, but had to be done. Constance June was not expecting another stream from Aaron tonight. Happy he is streaming. That's right. I'm ready. You know, guys, we got to, you know, it's like my New Year's resolution is to get back on the horse. You guys know I haven't been doing as much content lately. I haven't been focusing on it as much. I have a lot of trouble focusing these days. I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's getting worse. I'm doing my best to compensate for it. Okay, KPSI Bobby. Good to see you, KPSI Bobby. Grant Cardone, more like Grant Cardone. I love it. I've not heard that one before. Matt Elliott, MAA SPTV Canada. Happy holidays, all. Happy holidays, Matt. And thank you, of course, for being a channel member for 8 months. Arkansas Flamingo. May I just say again, I love the Brecka iron so much better with the warm tones as opposed to the ones in the older videos. Just saying, I got to tell you, one of the reasons I'm sticking with it and also sticking with the blue color for now is that it seems that for some reason it's making the camera focus on me better. The black shirt and the blue tones in the background, I was always slightly blurry and I could never figure out why. I guess this pops me out from the wall a little bit more, but thank you for noticing. CO Bilf, you got to bust out the 10X hat. You called it, CO Bilf. You called it. You know what? I'm going to read the rest of my comments with the hat on. Okay. Arminius, it's so annoying how all these Scientologists keep on promoting all these health scams, just like fake Dr. Berg does. Yep. Tom Matthews, sounds like disgruntled employees lawsuit. Oh, come on now, Tom. Don't be so cynical. First of all, you cannot call Gary Brecka just a disgruntled employee of this company. Gary Brecka really is honestly the founder of the whole thing. I mean, the only reason it even became a thing is because Cardone Ventures acquired what it is that Gary and his wife had already created. So maybe disgruntled co-founder is more like it. But thank you for the comment. I appreciate it. Arminius, if you have to scam your way through life, how is Scientology helping you? The cognitive dissonance is real with these people. CO Bilf, glad the Cardones are taking an L, but Brecka deserves all this for getting into business with slimy demons. You know, if I have a chance to talk to Gary Brecka, I think I'm going to ask him if he's willing to share it with me, how exactly the relationship with Cardone came about. I'd also love to understand the dynamic that Scientology just plays in the relationships between Cardone and his non-Scientologist business partners. Yeah, that would be an interesting conversation. Arminius, every single Scientologist I grew up with who has been in business has always been associated with a scam in some form or another. Every single one of them. You are absolutely correct. It is so true. Even some of the businesses that seem to be legitimate businesses. I mean, I guess it's well, I guess I can't say all of them, but I can think of many examples of even businesses that just seem like there couldn't be anything shady going on there. And you're like, yeah, no, it is. That's why he's got the business. Robin Bickerdike. Okay. Sounds like the Cardones are going to 10X losing this case. We got Jeff Augustine in the chat. The Scientology Money Project. The Cardones are 10Xing their lawsuits. Relatable Reese is in the chat. Good to see you, Reese. Hey, brother. Hope you had a good Christmas. I sure did, Reese. I hope you did as well. Good to see you. Old Frizz, don't know anything really about all these people except the icky way the Cardones are bringing up their kids. Oh, don't even get me started on that. Soon, I see Mrs. Cardone is as nice as her husband. Yes, a real see you next Tuesday right there. Love Maddie, but Grant is an OT8 and is one of the most ethical people on the prison planet. He wouldn't do anything slimy or nefarious business-wise, right? Oh, he can turn a red stoplight green. That's right. Grant Cardone is the highest level Scientologist that you can be on their bridge to total freedom. OT8. In fact, he's doing Scientology is really heavily promoting one of his seminars that he's doing here in Clearwater just for Scientologists. It might even be this weekend. And they call him an OT8, superpower completion, all 3 L's, cause resurgence rundown. He's basically Tom Cruise level Scientologist, which means they have superhuman powers, telepathy, telekinesis. You know, he's just a big being, you guys. Don't ask him to prove it to you though, because won't be able to do that. Okay, Arminius. Well, yeah, the guy is trained to be a scammer by Scientology. Yes. Analytical Blarney, AB. Okay. AB, analytical Blarney. A defamation equals any false statement that harms a person's reputation. Defamation per se equals a specific type where the statement is so inherently damaging that the law presumes harm to the person's reputation without additional proof. Bada bang. That makes sense. Thank you for clarifying that. I'm assuming the relationship to Diddy is the defamation per se, and maybe the other stuff is the defamation. Kim is blue. Yes, bring Brecka on for an interview. Scientology would go nuts. Well, fingers crossed, guys. We'll see. Just a Northern girl. It's not a party until Aaron pulls out the 10X hat. Nero James billion year SP. I wonder what Grant Cardouche did to pull this in. T. Curry, Grant Cardone is just a con man who will take people's investments, in my opinion. Kim is blue. Yes, Grant is in Coldwater, aka Clearwater, January 4th, January 5th for some conference. I already posted the promo for his Scientology conference. I think it's on my Twitter account and my YouTube community tab. It is 100% a Scientologists only Grant Cardone conference. There is something more to learn and understand. I can tell you there's a mystery here. It is unusual for Scientology to allow one of its members, like Grant Cardone, to use Scientology itself and its membership to promote their own shit. It would be one of these things that in the past, Scientologists would literally get expelled for using what they call org comm lines for personal gain, personal profit, personal promotion. And for some reason, the Scientology leadership down here in Clearwater is not only letting Grant do it, they're helping him do it. Scientologists are being very heavily encouraged to buy tickets to Grant Cardone's seminar. It can only mean one thing. Scientology's making probably all the money. And Grant is doing this as part of his way to stay into good graces with David Miscavige. That's my speculation. Any of you under the radar Scientologists out there who have any additional information you can share with me for how and why is Grant Cardone's programs and seminars and conferences and whatever's being pushed so heavily to Clearwater Scientologists, hit me up at growingupinscientology@gmail.com. Okay, guys, that's all we got. Thanks for hanging out with me at this late hour. Thank you, as always, to everyone who watches until the very end, and I'll talk to you soon.
Okay, if you want to see my rock and roll songs, click right on this guitar. And if you want to see a different one of my videos, then you could click right inside here. If you have subscribed or not, subscribe